Also, a Gavin Newsom topic, unfortunately, or fortunately, it's the revocation of 17,000 driver's licenses given to foreign truck drivers. And before you give Gavin Newsom any credit for this, I want to remind you that the Trump administration threatened to withhold $120 million in funding. Gavin Newsom didn't just wake up one day and decide to do the right thing. His hand was forced. Surprise, surprise. All right, so Connor, let's play the video of the guy wildly driving a truck and then killing 3 Americans. The video that went around the world.
Is he driving a big rig?
Yeah.
It's a commercial vehicle.
Okay. After he murdered 3 people through his reckless driving, you know what his excuse was? He couldn't read the signs. He couldn't read it.
Why does he have a driver's license, a commercial driver's license to begin with? I don't understand.
That's the huge problem.
Do we not have American
California.
commercial drivers? Like, we don't have truckers here?
It's just so obscene. Well, first of all, it's obscene that we're hiring foreigners over Americans, number one. And number two, it's obscene that Gavin Newsom's administration didn't enforce language requirements. At the very least, people who get CDLs should be able to speak and read our language, like basic English, like left to right, stop, don't, you know?
I mean, if you've ever been to a California DMV, you can kind of believe it.
Is it all Spanish?
No, it's just a nightmare.
It's a nightmare, and they do hand out license like crazy. And I did know some scams running on illegal
yes,
immigrant license schemes back in the day.
Emerald, you bring up a really good point, because in my preparation for this, I found a DMV employee who got paid $3,000 per illegal alien on whose behalf she took commercial driver's license tests.
What is
she was running a scam out of that DMV. I don't know what the hell is going on in California, but if Gavin Newsom thinks for 1 second that we're going to let him become the president of the United States, yeah, sure.
Well, look, it all depends on how the election plays out. Sometimes attack lines that you think will be effective against a candidate don't end up being effective at all. But the point I want to make in regard to the 2028 presidential election, where Gavin Newsom is certainly going to run, is that he is such a target-rich environment. There are so many lines of attack. And I think that the Democratic establishment that's really propping him up and setting him up to be the front runner for the election are totally in the dark about all of the various things that he has done wrong as the governor of California, including the story that we're currently talking about. Now, I don't know what's on the screen right now, but I need an answer about it.
It's a video.
Okay. Is that the driver's nails?
No. That's the DMV employee who was running a scam out of the DMV. She was taking, Connor, if we want to play the video, she was taking these tests under different disguises. So she would wear something different each time she took a test and pretend to be the person on whose behalf she was taking the test.
Has she been arrested? Let's watch it.
Jamie Middleton took commercial driver's license, or CDL, written exams for 7 different people. Investigators say that each time she'd use disguises, sunglasses, and surgical masks to look like a different person taking the exam.
For the right price,
workers would have on their computers a photo of the person who was supposed to take the test, but they'd let Middleton, who's clearly not the person on the computer screen, take it instead. She'd split a $1,500 to $3,000 payment for each bogus test with accomplices in the DMV.
So this is in New York State, not California.
Well, the CDL situation was in California.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing.
I think that probably happens in California. I don't know if they go full disguise, but I know there were schemes to provide documentation that was false, and you'd have your person in the DMV, and they would give them money under the table, and they just issue the driver's license.
I mean, there are stricter rules in like ID verification for like the SATs. Like, what is this?
That's true.
It is harder to get birth control than to. This is just like absolutely obscene that this happens out in the open, and also, if you notice, in Democratic states. These sanctuary cities are ripe for this sort of behavior, and we need to crack down.
But the fact that the Trump administration is addressing it, right? They threatened to pull $100 million in funding from California.
Yeah,
that tells you that Newsom is the front runner in their mind. And also, didn't they just, another related to Gavin Newsom, the feds arrested his former chief of staff.
We just covered that in the
Dana
previous
Williamson.
episode.
Yes.
And you know what's a huge tell? Gavin Newsom has been gearing up for this run for, as I said, the past decade.
Yeah.
When I was on the National Finance Committee of the DNC, he would come hat in hand essentially every single time. He and Pete Buttigieg would just work the room table to table trying to gather up all the donors. And I could just tell that this guy, he cares about nothing but himself, his own political preservation and ascent. And do you remember what, I obviously have a huge bone to pick with Kamala Harris, but I do love that she called him out in her book. When she called Gavin Newsom for his endorsement when she was running, you know what he said?
What did he say?
Sorry, I'm on a hike. Call you back.
He's a slimy person. He just is.
He never called her back. I mean,
So I guess my question is, Anna, you don't think that, you think he's too vulnerable because there's a lot to attack him on. But who?
I think he's going to be vulnerable in the general. I think in the primary, if he wins and is the top of the Democratic ticket, the Democrats who support him are going to be shocked at how effective the line of attack against him is going to be by whoever the Republican ends up being, the Republican nominee.
So, Lindy, who do you think it would be if it's not Gavin Newsom? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. The
I can't tell you.
establishment right now is already revolving around Gavin Newsom, so there isn't anybody else. This is how the
No
DNC
AOC,
works.
'cause
No,
they
I
start-
was
I don't
saying
think
this
AOC
earlier.
is gonna, I'd be shocked if she ran. I think she's going to run for Chuck Schumer's seat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The DNC is such a clique. I'm just trying to tell you, it's so insular. So once they decide on a candidate, that's it. That's why they tried to squeeze Bernie Sanders out in 2016. He never had a chance. The whole thing was rigged against him. Okay, so there isn't going to be any opposition to Gavin Newsom because that's not how Democrats work. There's no such thing as a democracy. If you're not their anointed person, you don't have a chance at all. And it's not just at the
that's true.
presidential level, it's every single level. That's why independent and upstart candidates have such a hard time breaking into the system.
I've never asked you this, even though you're a great resource to get confirmation. In 2016, obviously, the Democratic establishment had already decided that Hillary Clinton's going to be the nominee.
They hated Bernie.
So did they
viscerally.
conspire against him?
They absolutely did. They marshaled all the superdelegates,
I
and
knew
that's
it.
why they had to change the rules afterwards because the Bernie Sanders supporters called them out on it. They saw all the momentum, all the money, all the young people around America loving Bernie.
Yeah.
And they knew that they were done. And that's why they had to rig the game. Because
The party that protects democracy. Am I
Exactly.
right?
They do
Yeah.
that every single time. In 2016, they screwed over Bernie in the name of democracy. In 2024, they lied about Biden's cognitive fitness in the name of democracy. They always screw up democracy in the
Well,
name
then they
of
talk
democracy.
the other candidates of dropping out, essentially, right?
Yep. That's what happened in 2020. Yeah.
Exactly. Hi, everyone. I'm Lindy Lee. If you like this clip, please go to YouTube, look for her take, and subscribe. You won't regret it.